So I'm talking about my traumatic events that have happened in my life. And there have been many. I've been abused by the medical system. When I got my PTSD through Veterans Affairs, they said that I can't have therapy without taking medication. And I wasn't really good at taking medication because I was so ultra sensitive to it that I would get really deathly ill and not want to live, and ended up in the emergency rooms because of the medication, because it affected my brain, and it was, the only way I can explain this is, felt like I was in hell and I couldn't get out of that hell, and it's like I didn't want to be in my mind or my body ever, and I know now that it was the medication that did this, not my illness. Oh, it makes me so mad. Anyways, I had to endure that for 6 years, and my doctor, who said she was there to help me, she actually didn't. She was hurting me. She was giving me all kinds of these medications that were making me so I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk, and I was paralyzed, and I slept for excessive hours, and it was so abusive and so bad, and they kept telling me to take them and take them and take them, and to keep going back to this therapist that was very mean to me after about 4 or 5 years, and it was my mistake for trusting my doctor to pick my therapist for me, because they were both in cahoots on me and they were both there for the money. My doctor is my biggest trigger now. She's my newest traumatic event. I have flashbacks of what she did to me almost daily, and I can't stop them, and a lot of times I'll cry and I'll lose it and go out of control because she had devastated my life and broke my heart. She had me get so close to her and trust her so much with everything, even with my entire life. Like, I did everything she said, to the point where she knew that, and then she fired me. And the day that she fired me, I remember walking out of her office and wanting to die. I had to fight that. So I still have flashbacks 2 years later after that day, and she doesn't understand the damage that she did. And I don't think doctors understand how much we depend on them and look up to them, and that when they hurt us like that, it's not because of who they are as a person, it's because we trust them so much as a doctor, and we do as they say. At least I think most of us do. And that was my biggest mistake, was letting her into my heart. I never should have cared about her or loved her as my doctor. I never should have listened to all of the bad, abusive things that she told me to do. And I should have stood more on my own, but I was depending on her too much. I didn't think I could live without seeing her every week. And her secretary had told me that she was going away for 3 weeks, and she knew that it was going to upset me. And so apparently I made too much of a scene, and it upset Kimberly, and that she fired my ass. And she showed no compassion that day that she fired me, no concern. She was very abusive to me, and telling me over and over again what I had done that day and how I made a scene and how that's not allowed, and that's why she fired me, even though that wasn't one of her rules to fire a patient. And then telling the doctors and surgeons of Ontario that, lying to me and having her staff lie to me and say, oh, everything's fine, there's nothing different about this appointment, even though I had a feeling that there was, because I had called and asked before I got there. I had to drive a half an hour to get there, and then she put me into that state, and then I had to try and drive myself home, which I couldn't do for several hours because I was crying constantly and out of it, and wanting to die the whole time, and so my mental state was completely disrupted. This person I was supposed to trust completely turned my world upside down, and whenever I think about her, I go right into that state again, and it is just absolutely terrible. So, I don't trust anyone, and I'll never let anybody close to my heart again for the rest of my life. All because of her. It's something that she damaged and did, and only she can fix, and she wanted me dead to her. She didn't want me a part of her life at all. She said she was going to sever all ties, And she had also said that my family can't see her, so because of my actions, my family lost her. She was almost, I thought, the perfect doctor, but she had duped me and lied to me so many occasions. Anyways, that's my newest traumatic event. Bye.